Oh, there it is. My friend, the bus driver, told me about this Chrysler 300. And I thought I was going to have to walk much further than this to go find it. There's the scrap there, right on fucking cue, STM junk. It's kind of funny to say that because these cars were actually junk. I'm sorry to say that. I would love to own one. I love these cars. I always did. But they were terrible cars. I mean, mechanically, they were good. Mechanically. It's all the other stuff that was questionable, you know? Such as carburetors and electricals, and just the quality overall was not great. Look at that. Look how they put all the separate letters. Missing a D there. Actually, was that original? See, even me, I don't remember everything you can imagine, you know, and I can't... look at this. What a shame, eh? This tree got the tree disease. It's like that in my neighborhood, too. Interesting. It's got some... looks like aftermarket caps with trim rings. Damn, it's fucking nice, though. Again, I wonder if this is the same guy who owns this. The same guy who owns the two Cadillacs I filmed near here. It's in driver condition. It's in good condition. Not mint. But you know, the coolest aspect of these cars is that front end, that front grille. There was nothing like that. GM, Ford, they had nothing on that. That was so awesome, you know? And every time I look at one of these cars that has that kind of a design where there's no bumper really sort of sticking out, if you know what I mean, it's amazing how, you know, the American government had no choice but to clamp down on the American car makers, because cars like that, as cool as they are, and how they were just massive powerhouses with 383 V8s and 440s, they're fucking dangerous. You had these massive power plants, and the cars were, you know, the handling was good in a straight line, but if they were, move it along there. But if they were going in a curve, never mind if the roads were slippery, they were just not stable. And that's important for you younger guys to know this, actually. And if you're lucky to be able to drive legally, unlike me, I'm visually impaired. I can't. I'm visually impaired. I've always been. And you have to be aware of all these things, you know? You have to be aware. Yeah, it's in great shape, though. I was saying it's a driver, but actually I think it's in better than driver condition, even. Look at that, how they put that side marker light. They put that all the way up there like that. That's weird. That's another thing I never noticed about these. Usually they were about here or here. That's a federal safety regulation that came in 1968. Also, what's weird is those backup lights. They look like they were... Yeah, they were changed. Yeah, that's a mean looking car, man. Front to rear. I love how they had the tail lights. It looked like it looked like one piece, you know? Thanks again to you, Joe, if you see this, for telling me about this car. It's not like I see fucking big classic American boats on the streets anymore like I used to. You know? And thanks to the guy whoever you are, who owns this and parks it on the street here. A lot of people wouldn't even have the guts to do that, because I said it before and I'll say it again. We live in a city of fucking savages these days, you know? Just like a lot of cities. So, and we'll just make a little bit of a higher view here. There we go. That's pretty cool. Look how massive this thing is. So, if I didn't mention it, these cars were built from '69. All these big Chryslers, the Newport, the 300, the New Yorker, they were built from '69 to '73, with minor changes along the way. And they were known as the fuselage styling, because the design had a look of motion, like the car was in motion, you know. And it was, personally, I think it was brilliant. That's what's great about Chrysler products. Chrysler, Dodge, Plymouth, Imperial, wherever they lacked in quality, they made up in style fucking big time. And that's why me and other guys, we love these cars. It doesn't matter about their quirks. You could do wrong anyway. You could have bought a fucking Fiat, for Christ's sake. There's a complete shitbox. Hence the term, fix it again Tony, fix it again Tuesday, fix it again Thursday. If you're Italian, you're offended by that, hey listen, I'm sorry. I gotta, you know me, I call it is what it is. Right away when I started filming this car, I said it wasn't great. And I'll give you another example of that. Even though I didn't live in this great era, I was born in '75. Let me finish by saying, years ago, I lived in the NDG sector, you know. And sometimes when I would do groceries, I would take a cab back because it was too much. I didn't feel like taking the bus, whatever. So this guy, I take a ride in this cab, you know, and I asked him, what's the best car you ever had and what's the worst car you ever had? He says, the worst car I ever had was a 70 Chrysler New Yorker. And mind you, this guy, I could tell he'd been a taxi driver like 30 years, at least 30, 40 years. And he says the best car I ever had was this Toyota Camry. But it's funny because that was like 12 years ago or so. I don't know, something like that. And Toyota, I'm going to tell you something else about Toyota, how they've gone downhill in quality. My father-in-law bought a Toyota Highlander, right? Like an SUV like this, you know. Very comfortable, smooth ride, V6, entry-level luxury. And believe it or not, since the car was new, he's got a defective shock absorber. So you hear the thing when you're driving, it's going, don't, don't, don't. And believe it or not, I think a couple of days ago, I spoke with my mom, and he said that the car was at the shop, at the dealer, and believe it or not, they couldn't source the fucking part. They didn't have the part, Toyota. I'm not kidding you. So they had to take a fucking shock absorber from another new car at the lot and put it on his. That's one of the most fucking stupidest, ridiculous things I ever heard. So like they say, my friends, all good things come to an end. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye.